Whether you want to save $500, $5,000, or maybe $50,000, it is possible, it is doable, and today I wanted to share 10 practical and easy money saving tips that you can implement into your daily life to start saving whatever amount of money that you really want to start saving. If you're new here, my name is Jess, and on my channel I share all sorts of content from lifestyle, wellness, financial wellness, and I love talking about money, ways to save money, ways to make money, and also kind of everything in between. So if you guys are new here, I'd love for you to stick around, hit that subscribe button, and if you find money saving tips, budgeting tips, things like that interesting, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. All right, tip number one, this should be obvious, but it is to create an actual budget for yourself. There's tons of different ways to actually create a budget for yourself, and I have made videos in the past where I share how I'm making my budget, thinking about my budget, how I'm breaking down my expenses and things like that. To be honest, I feel like I was getting kind of mixed reviews from you guys on whether you liked it or not, so I have since kind of stopped doing those videos, but I will link up above one of my kind of basic ones of just showing like how to get started creating your own budget. But this has to be one of my biggest tips for learning how to save money, is to get really familiar with your finances, get really familiar with how much money is coming in and where exactly you are spending your money every single day, every single week, every single month. The more familiar you are with your budget, with where you're spending, the easier it will be to make some of these adjustments, cut back in certain areas, and do things like start saving. And of course, once you have your budget figured out, the most important thing is to actually stick to it. So go watch one of my previous videos about creating your own budget. I'm not going to dive into how to do that here, but create your own budget for yourself and then start sticking to it. All right, tip number two is to pay yourself first, save first, and spend last. This one is so important, and practicing this has truly changed my life and changed my perspective on money, helped me be able to, build a large nest egg with my investment accounts, with my savings account, build an emergency fund with my husband, and it is so important. The reality is, if you have $5,000 and that's your income, you will find a way to spend it. You might think, oh, well, if I made an extra, $2,000, $3,000 this month, I would be able to save $2,000 or $3,000, but it becomes actually so easy to adjust your cost of living, your lifestyle to be spending all of that money. So no matter how much money you're making, if you want to be saving, you need to be prioritizing putting money away first, paying yourself first before you start spending, before you even start paying your bills. So what this could look like is on your payday, let's say you get paid once a month at the beginning of the month, the first thing you should do is automatically transfer, 10%, 20%, whatever of your paycheck over to your savings account, and you do not touch that money until you've saved up for the thing that you are saving up for or whatever your end goal is. By doing this, you are just taking care of yourself, you're putting your priorities first, and you're taking your money saving goals seriously. All right, tip number three is to start eating at home instead of eating out. This is one that I really started implementing. Chris and I both did once I got laid off last year, when we were just immediately looking for ways to kind of cut back on our expenses. This was just an easy and obvious one for us. It is so easy to go out and spend money on food. Like, obviously restaurants make really delicious food. Going out for drinks or happy hour is always so much fun to do with your friends. I love going out to lunch with my husband or going out to brunch with friends, just different things. Of course, it's just so much fun to go out to eat and something to do, and it's a way to be social. But this was something that my husband and I really had to focus on and cut back on when we were, a little bit more financially strained and needing to cut back in certain areas. You can save truly hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per month by just focusing on cooking at home, eating at home versus eating out. I know it can be hard if this is like a social thing that you maybe do with your friends, but of course you could always say like, let's do, happy hour instead of dinner. That's a great way to cut back on those eating out expenses, because typically happy hour is a lot cheaper. I suggest maybe instead of going out for drinks, doing a wine night at home, so then you only spend, maybe $15 on a bottle of wine versus $50 on multiple drinks or something like that. So there's different ways to kind of be creative about this. This doesn't mean you don't get to be social anymore, but just be a little bit more creative about how you are thinking about eating out, be smart about it, and cut back on it as much as you can. Tip number four is to buy your most frequently used items in bulk. Again, this is something that Chris and I really started thinking about and leveraging when we got really strict with our budget with, for example, paper good products, toilet paper, paper towels. We always buy that from Costco. Paper towels, I think it's somewhere around like $23 for a 12 pack at Costco versus at our standard grocery store, I think it's like $15 for like a 6-pack of paper towels. So just think about the things that you can buy in bulk that won't go bad, obviously, and think about ways that you can save on those purchases. This also goes for if you're, grocery shopping and you maybe see something that you frequently eat on sale, like chicken or almond milk. I don't know, these are examples of things that I eat a lot. If I see that they're on sale, like this is is a good time to stock up, especially again, if it's something you can freeze or something that goes in the pantry that doesn't actually need, you know, refrigerated and eaten right away. This can also look like leveraging things like coupons and making sure you're shopping your store's sales. And of course, my final tip here is to just make sure you're shopping at, you know, like discount places if you can. You know, we have grocery stores here like Albertsons, and those are a little bit more expensive, but we also have this place called Smith's, and it tends to be just a little bit cheaper and more affordable. So even if it's like an extra 2-minute drive or whatever, just start shopping at grocery stores that are a little bit more affordable so that in the long run you can actually be saving money. Tip number 5 is to shop what you already have first, and this can mean like in your pantry as well as in your closet and just in your house in general. For example, I am very guilty of being like, oh, this one meal or something sounds really good tonight. Okay, we don't have any of the ingredients, so let's go to the store and spend like $30 on all of the ingredients. Meanwhile, I have, you know, a box of pasta, red sauce, some meat in the freezer, and basically an entire meal that I could already cook for myself, and I just don't feel like eating it because it just doesn't sound that good. You actually take a look at what's actually in your pantry first and find recipes that use those ingredients. Maybe it's not every ingredient that you have, but maybe you only need to buy a couple like fresh vegetables, which might only be a couple dollars, versus needing to buy just every single ingredient on the list. Another way that I've been thinking about doing this is with my closet and with my clothes. Of course, I personally love clothes shopping. I love spending money on clothes, but again, with like being laid off and needing to be a little bit more frugal, that's just not possible. It's not something that I feel comfortable, of course, spending a ton of money on. I really only buy clothes if it's for like a specific event that I need something very specific for. It can be really easy to get kind of bored with your clothing, I think, and that's why a lot of us want to buy new clothes. But what I like to do is I like to go to Pinterest and I like to just find some outfit inspiration. It might look slightly different, but I might have a few pieces that are similar that I can kind of create a similar look, similar outfit that maybe I didn't think of before because I just wasn't looking at those pieces the same. Shop what you already have first before you start going out and spending money on new dresses or new outfits or trying a brand new recipe when you have plenty of ingredients in your pantry for something else that would work. Tip number 6 is to leverage cashback or rewards programs. So this is actually something that I do all the time, and this is one way that Chris and I are able to travel a lot affordably is through our credit card. And I absolutely love our credit card. I will in fact provide a referral link down in the description box if anybody wants to sign up. I absolutely love it, so I highly recommend it. But we personally have the Capital One Venture X credit card, and this credit card comes with tons and tons of travel benefits. It also has cashback rewards. Like I can use the points and miles I've earned on my credit card to check out at Amazon, which is really cool. It's another great way to save money. But I mean, if you are anything like me and absolutely love traveling, it's definitely worth getting a credit card that has travel benefits. And the way that I do this smartly, wisely, is I basically just put my normal everyday expenses on the credit card, things like my groceries that I was gonna buy anyway, or my Amazon purchases, or when I have to take the dogs to the vet and pay those bills. Basically anything that I was gonna buy anyway with my debit card, I put on my credit card. Now I will say I do pay off my credit card debt like immediately within the end of the calendar month. So I never carry a balance on my credit card. I never spend more than I actually have in my, you know, checking account. That is one very important kind of caveat to credit cards and rewards programs and things like that. Just do not overspend. But if you can keep your spending within your budget, this is a really smart way to start building up points, building up cashback rewards, or building up miles if you like traveling like me. Chris and I currently have almost 300,000 miles saved up, and part of the reason we still have them saved and haven't spent them is we want to go on an international trip and we want to fly like business class. This is plenty of miles to fly internationally, economy class or whatever, but we both really want to fly like business class, so we're saving up all of our miles so that we can do a trip like that for free. And that's what's really cool about some of these reward programs. I am just using a credit card that gives me rewards to make purchases that I was going to make anyway, paying it off every month, and over time building up those rewards, cashback, whatever, to then be able to spend on other things if you're doing cashback, or go on trips for free if you like traveling. So just do some research, and of course just never spend more than you actually have. Tip number 7 is to get really good at DIY. I personally, I have some things I'm willing to DIY, and then other things I'm really just not willing to DIY. Chris and I were so resistant to getting a person to clean our pool the entire like probably first year or 9 months that we had a pool. I was like, this is something we can totally do by ourselves. We can handle it. It started getting out of control. Like our pool started getting a little bit too green, a little bit too murky. And I was like, you know what? We have no idea what we're doing. I think we should just pay somebody to do this and not have to worry about it every month. So there's different things you kind of have to weigh, pros and cons of like what is actually worth spending the time and money on versus what's not. There's different ways that you can kind DIY things. Of course, if I wanted my nails done and I really wanted to cut out this expense, I could do press-ons, I can do obviously painting them myself, but there's tons of other things that Chris and I really cut back on that we do ourselves that help us save money in the long run. Another example could be like cleaning the house. I would really love to hire a house cleaner, but this is something that just doesn't make sense for us right now. You know, getting a house cleaner would be probably $300, $400 per month, and that's just not an expense that I think Chris and I really want to take on right now. Another example could be maybe you like to have a super clean car, you like to get it detailed, or you like to drive it through the car wash. Maybe just go ahead and go out and buy some of the car wash materials yourself so that you can, you know, do a home car wash every weekend. And another thing for me is I'm very crafty and creative, and I saved a ton of money at our wedding actually by DIYing things. I did all of our flowers, our florals myself, but with the help of my bridesmaids and moms and aunts and things, which was so amazing. I think I probably spent like altogether maybe $2,000 on all of the flowers that I had, and I think the amount of flowers that we had, if we had gotten like a florist, would have easily been $5,000–$6,000. This is just an example, but with our baby shower too, I am planning on DIYing all of the decorations and everything myself. Look it up on Pinterest, look it up on YouTube, look it up on TikTok, whatever, and get some inspiration and figure out how to do things yourself. Tip number 8 is to shop secondhand when possible. This is actually something that one of my friends here, Shelby, and I started doing recently. We started being like, let's go check out Goodwill or whatever, some of these thrift stores around town to buy some of the things that we've been looking for, whether it be books or clothes or picture frames or whatever that we're looking for. Let's try Goodwill first and see if we can find something that is super cheap, super affordable before going out and spending, you know, $50 on a new work dress or $10 on a new picture frame that I could buy for $3 at Goodwill. Or books, especially books. I bought books last time Shelby and I went to Goodwill. They're like $4 versus at Barnes & Noble, they're like $15 or $20. So another way that I like to do this is I always check like Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace when I'm shopping for things like furniture, you know, stuff like a desk or maybe a lamp or some things like that that are easy to kind of clean up, wipe down, and you don't feel super weird, you know, buying secondhand. I always check these services first before I go and buy something brand new off of like Amazon or some other nicer retailers. Tip number 9, this is a little bit of a tough one for me, I'm not gonna lie, which is to remove the auto-populated credit card numbers that you have on all of your shopping accounts. I have not done that. It's just so convenient to like automatically have like click your credit card and check out, you know, but that's kind of the point, right? Like it makes it so much easier to spend money, check out quickly when all of your credit card info is right there. You don't have to get up off of the couch to go grab it out of your purse or whatever. So if you really want to get serious about saving money, shopping less, spending less, then try removing some of those credit card numbers. It will make you think twice about checking out of your shopping cart when you are checking out. Similarly to that, this is something that I also would really like to implement for myself, but it is to remove some of these shopping apps from your phone so that you're not just like mindlessly scrolling through Amazon. I know I'm personally guilty of this, just hanging out on the couch. I might be just looking at what's like on sale deals that are going on Amazon or whatever. Remove Amazon or whatever other shopping apps that you use from your phone, so that way you have to get up off the couch, maybe go get your computer and be a lot more intentional about your shopping and what you're buying than you would if it's just at your fingertips on your phone, easy to access and just right there, readily available. So these are things that I personally have not implemented, but I think that if you really want to cut back on spending and saving more, then this is a really doable, practical, easy thing that you can do to make yourself kind of think twice about if it's really worth it to be spending money on the thing that you're about to buy. All right, and the final tip I have for you guys, don't be mad, but it is to increase your income, of course. So if you want to be saving more money, you are going to need to increase your income a little bit. And this, of course, again, goes back to the second tip, I think it was, where I said, if you increase your income, that does not mean you should increase your spending. Take that extra income and put it directly into savings. If you're not sure how to make more income, there's a few different things to think about. Think about ways that you can ask for a raise at work. Maybe you can ask your boss what you would need to do in order to receive a raise at work. Maybe they'll say, do X, Y, and Z things and you'll get, you know, a 5% raise. Like that would be amazing. Maybe they'll say, do X, Y, and Z things and we'll promote you. Or maybe they'll tell you that there's other opportunities within the team or company or whatever that actually pay a little bit better than your current role. You never really know until you ask. And then of course you can also look for a different job. If your job isn't super fulfilling and you aren't making enough money and you want to be trying to make more money, maybe go look for a new job. But maybe you're super happy in your job and you don't really want to ask for a promotion or whatever. There's definitely some different things you can do side hustle wise to start making a little bit of extra cash. I have made tons of videos on my channel about side hustles and making extra income. So if you're really curious about that, I made one recently that I think was a little bit more like unique side hustle ideas, things you can do from home. I will link that video up above if you are curious and want to get started on a unique and different side hustle that could make you a couple, maybe 100 or 200 bucks a month. There's tons of different things though that you can do, from dog walking to being an Uber driver to renting out a room in your house to doing things like taking online surveys or even listing your used clothes on Poshmark. There's tons of different things that you can do. But if you are looking to save extra money, obviously I think a really important one is to think about ways that you can actually increase your income. So you guys, those are all of my tips today. I hope that you found them interesting, helpful, useful. Let me know if you give any of them a shot. I think it's definitely worth it to try some of these things out if you are really serious about saving money and increasing your emergency fund, or finding money that you're already making to invest in the stock market or whatever it is that you're interested in doing. It is possible. You just need to be proactive and take the necessary steps in order to get there. You don't have to completely change your lifestyle, but you are going to need to make some little changes here and there. Be a little bit smarter about where you're spending your money and how you're spending your money, and just be a little bit more thoughtful in order to achieve these goals that you might have. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, if you found it useful, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment down in the comments box as well. That is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch up with you next time.